This is for the rule breakers, the rebels, those who aren't afraid to shake up the status quo. If you're living your life your way, or if you're not, but like listening to people who are, this podcast is for you. It's never too late to learn how to ruin your own reputation.
Welcome to How to Ruin Your Own Reputation, the show where I talk to people who either have unique jobs or have chosen to live lives that some people just don't quite understand, and they're doing it unapologetically. Today, we're talking about something that interests me, but I have to admit I had a little bit of apprehension around it. And I had apprehension because we're talking about dating. Well, we're talking to the number one dating coach for men. And the reason why I had some apprehension is because there is a lot of dating coach type stuff on social media right now that is being given by really these quote unquote alpha males who are spewing misogyny and hatred towards women in an effort to empower men to deal with all those nasty feminists out there. And I knew I didn't want that here. So I made sure, in speaking with Jared earlier, that that wasn't what he was all about. And I did some research and saw that Jared's videos were a lot more about empowering men to be able to have the confidence to approach women in a respectful way. So just to give you a little bit of background on Jared, I'm talking about Jared Laurence, aka Psych. He is an international speaker. He is the CEO of a company called Modern Flirting. He's the author of 2 books on dating and flirting. He's been seen and heard on a multitude of different networks, from MTV to Oxygen to A&E to NBC to ABC, all of the letters. And he has a background in psychology. I want to say that one thing I really liked is that Jared talked about empowering men to have confidence. And I want to say, I think that's a really good thing, because confident men are not a danger to women. It's insecure men who are afraid of women that keep trying to put us down. Those are the threat. So I think it's very important. And I think a lot of us are curious to know what men are teaching men about what women want. So let's just dive right in. So hello, Jared. Thank you for being here on How to Ruin Your Own Reputation.
Thank you so much. I love that little thing you said at the very beginning. Odd jobs, or got in a weird place. I'm like, this should be like my Tinder bio. Like, that describes me perfectly.
There you go. Feel free to use it.
And just from that intro, there's so much I just want to like jump in and talk about just from all those experiences and everything you just said there. But I'll let you ask the questions.
Well, that's great. I mean, here, I'll just start off by saying, tell us how you are different.
Sure. Okay.
Now all over the place.
So there's a lot of ways to answer that. I mean, number one, like you said, I've been in this. I'm not new to this by any means. I've been in this scene for 16 years. And in those 16 years, I've worked for a lot of different companies. A lot. I've been passed around like a peace pipe, honestly. So I saw all of it. I saw the good. I saw the bad. At some point in my career, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of part of the bad. And I talk about that in my book, how I had to go through this transition of being a pickup artist, a self-proclaimed guy using tactics and tricks and manipulations to like trick women into bed. And like, I was part of the problem for a good 2 years of that journey, because I just didn't know any better, because this is what's being taught. And I realized along my own way, like I had to break out of that. I had to find something better, because I didn't like the direction it was going. I didn't like what I was becoming. I didn't like the results I was getting. And I eventually, at the end of the day, I created Modern Flirting, which was my own take on it. And at this point, we now have about 9 different coaches with different expertise. This goes beyond dating. So one way I can differentiate myself is we don't just teach how to attract, we teach how to be attractive. So guys in my program, we have calls on business success, or starting side hustles. We have fitness and diet. I have an amazing coach for that. Inner growth, the inner game, the right mentalities to have to help guys with the depression, anxiety. I have a guy for that. Michelle, she helps a billionaire with a B organize his schedule and teaches our guys time management. These are not normal things you'd associate with dating, right? And the philosophy is, look, if you want to get a 10, you want to get your ideal girl, you have to be her ideal guy. And we want to help you become that. With that said, yes, we do teach how to attract, which is typically what a lot of guys want to learn right off the get-go. How do you approach a girl? How do you escalate? How do you take her on a date properly? How do you not run out of things to say? How do you get over the anxiety of meeting women? How do you build a connection? How do you flirt? How do you do humor? There's so much that goes into this. So that, number one, I would say I'm different because we teach you to be well-rounded. So a holistic approach. I would say the second thing is you have to realize why all these Andrew Tates or toxic male dating coaches or all these guys are coming from. They're coming from a source of men who are frustrated and need to voice. And I get where they are coming from. Don't get me wrong. I understand them. I don't agree with it, but I understand it because that would probably be me if I didn't figure it out. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bridge that divide and get these guys who are frustrated, these incels, the MGTOW movement and all that stuff. I'm trying to bring them back and give them hope again so that women have a bigger pool of men. And I'm trying to make guys, a lot of the girls I meet, the way I explain this goes, I make guys less creepy for you. You're welcome. I'm trying to make them less creepy. I'm trying to make them better. I'm trying to make dating suck less so that these guys are giving you a better experience. Because that's what we teach in the day is you want to get an amazing girl, give her an incredible experience. So the big differentiator is there's a lot of bitter, frustrated men out there who've been let down. They don't know what to do. They hypergamy is a real thing. About 20% of men are getting 80% of the women. And that means 80% of men are being really let down. 80% of divorce rates are the women leaving the men. And that means they take their money, take the kids, take all this stuff. There are a lot of bitter men out there who are they don't have hope. They don't know what to do. So that's why these voices and these, gurus are coming up to feed on that bitterness, to voice it and to make it like this really toxic group of guys just constantly talking about how bad the world is. And we have those movements like the red pill, the black pill movement, just like incels and MGTOWs. And I can explain what those are for anybody who, if you want me to, but what makes this difference is I don't want pills. I don't want any of that stuff. I want to teach skills. And that's kind of a saying we have, skills, not pills. Let us just realize women aren't the enemy. We want female friends. You want to be dating them. It means a connection. It can't be like all women are bad or all women, I'll never find a good girl in my city. I hear this all the time. I teach guys to stop thinking and talking like that. And I started having them reflect and going, what can you do in your control that will actually better your life and your results with women? And once we figure out where the problem points are, let's teach the skills that move the needle. That's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing is that they have to want to do the work. I mean, what you're talking about is you're saying, okay, I can help you get the women that you want to meet, but you have to work on yourself. You have to decide before you get her to sit at the table with you, you have to have something to bring to the table yourself. But I think the problem is that takes work, right? It takes time. It might take money. But what these other guys are offering is just blame. Right? If they don't have to do the work and they can just say, well, women suck, then it's much easier for them. So what's frustrating is that unfortunately a lot of these guys, and a lot of them are young too. I mean, that's what I've seen, especially on places like TikTok. You're not even talking about men in their 40s, 50s, 60s who are frustrated. I mean, I'm seeing, which is more terrifying, I'm seeing the really young guys in their 20s who are saying, I'm mad because women won't date me. It's not, I'm a good guy, which is, let me tell you, any guy who says he's a good guy is not a good guy. But that's the biggest red flag. But so they have to want to do the work. And one of my questions is, when men come to you, how many of them are coming with this genuine need or not need, but genuine desire to be better and to do the right thing? And how many are coming to you because they think you are that pickup artist?
So the way I teach my team to our advisors when guys come to us, we screen every single person. We screen them for a few things. Maybe they're not a good financial fit because it is an investment. They have to be willing to invest and put the time in and to really get this down. And we can guarantee them to see a full transformation within a year or less. So we can get them those results, but we have to make sure that they can actually invest in themselves and make that commitment and actually make it happen. The other thing we screen for is their mentality. If they're bitter, if they are just like, I want a magic pill and I don't want to change, I want the women to be better, but then what are we talking about? Because now you're talking about controlling things outside of our control. So I believe on our front end, our marketing, how we present ourselves, the stuff we talk about, the culture that I bring in, especially my Facebook group, like it's incredible. Like this is a place where we are exchanging ideas, trying to better ourselves. As you said, like work on ourselves, which a lot of people say work on themselves and they mean like meditating and journaling and doing a lot of nothing. When I say work on ourselves, I talk about action taking. Like specifically, what are you doing that's going to fix a problem in your life? Like going to the gym is working on myself if I'm out of shape, right? So we give them step-by-step roadmap. We literally show them exactly what to do to work on themselves, and that needs to be appealing to them. If they just want a place to whine and complain, they're going to learn very quickly that's not modern flirting. Like our job is to say, you're here and you want to get this life, you want to get a lifestyle, we call it a lifestyle funnel. You want to be surrounded by women, you want to have a ton of female friends, you want to be the guy that's got an abundance of women, of options to choose from. You want to be the guy that's in a committed relationship and married with a family. You want to be the guy that just knows everyone in your town as a local celebrity. You want to be the guy that has business success while still enjoying your life and doing cool things. Then let's paint the image, and then we'll show you step by step how to do that. And it does take work, but it's not. My only little pet peeve is when a lot of people say do the work or do the work. A lot of people don't know what that means. They don't really have a good it's like a platitude. It's a cool thing to say. We actually define it. We get very specific with it, and we'll show them step by step what to do. And we graduate from the program. And then where guys are, I'm responsible for over 108 marriages that I know of. We have wins in my program literally every single day of guys either getting dates, yes, I mean, part of it is sex, part of it having sex with girls after like a 2-year, 5-year dry spell and just like, oh my God, this does work. Guys getting girlfriends, guys having amazing relationships, or even a small wins, guys just approaching a girl for the first time in their life sometimes. And they're like, I can't believe that was okay. And she didn't spit in my face or whatever crazy scenario they're thinking of.
Now, does anyone fail? Do people drop out? I mean, there's got to be some people who aren't thrilled with the
yeah. So I would love to say I have 100% success rate and just be like, yeah, of course, everybody wins. But I'd be lying to you, and I believe in complete honesty. People do fail in the program. It is the minority. I'm glad about that. It is the minority. But the ones who fail are the ones who quickly realize this isn't a magic pill where it's just like, oh, okay, 3 simple tricks, and now all of a sudden everything's fine. They're the ones where they go out and either the anxiety gets to them, they can't push themselves, they get lazy, they fall off. We do our best to keep them accountable. We do our best to keep it fun. We give a great support system. We have members in every major city in America and a lot in the world. So guys have guys they can go out with and start meeting up with and building that like brotherhood, that camaraderie. So we do our best for that. But there are people who, for whatever reason, they just kind of they just meander off, or they just realize, you know what, it's too hard. I'd rather whine and complain versus actually fixing things. So.
Well, I think also when it comes to success, there are going to be situations where somebody could be just a good person and can work on themselves the way that you work with them. And they might just really be interested in women that aren't interested in them. That happens to all of us, right? I mean, you could be the best person in the world, but the people that you like are just not interested in you. That's just life. That's nobody's fault. And they could just feel like they are failing that way. I mean, that's just, there's that whole cliche about there's someone for everyone. I don't think that's true. There might be many people for a shorter period of time. Who knows? But yeah, I can't imagine there'd be 100% success in terms of what everyone would consider successful.
No, but the idea is not success, like this perfect rate. The idea for me is, are you leveling up? It's just improvement. Are you seeing things get better? That to me is a success. We like to be process oriented, not results oriented. Are you seeing the process get better? Are you seeing the picture coming into focus, right? It doesn't need to be instantaneous, but as long as we're moving the needle, right? Like if you go to the gym, was it a success? I think a success is going to the gym. Do you see all of a sudden your body's different? No, you don't see anything. But it's a game of small wins.
Right. And I guess if you are working on all the aspects of who you are, your confidence is going to get better. You're going to become more ease in situations, and that is going to make it easier to meet people in all different facets. One of the questions that I got from a listener was, what is the number one thing you wish that men knew about dating?
Number one thing, that's a good question. Well, the number one thing I would teach would just be how to lead. I think. Actually, I got it. The number one thing I wish that men understood about dating is it's a skill like anything else. And here's what I mean by that. If a lot of guys, they want to get better at dating, right? They want to work on themselves. So what does that mean? What do they keep commenting about? Be yourself. Just be confident. Just be yourself. Honestly, if a guy doesn't have the skill of dating, I don't want him to be confident, because guess what happens when a creepy, weird guy is confident? It freaks a girl out. They're doing bad things. They're grabbing girls by the wrist confidently. They're grabbing girls' arms and they're trying to slobber kiss them, even though there's no social cues. They don't understand no means no. Confident without the skill is actually pretty scary and is very bad. Like, there's a lot of confident guys catcalling women, like, right. So it's not really be confident and be yourself. Sure. Yeah. Be yourself. But if you're just being yourself, then if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always gotten. So if be yourself is this guy that stays in every night playing video games, getting high, and not having any career outside of your driving Uber Eats and having no ambition and just being like, you know what, I don't need any friends. I can let myself go because that's me and I'm going to be myself. Honestly, I'm sorry, but like, that person is not going to get the results you want. So it's not be yourself, it's be your ideal self. Be your best self. How about we foster that? So then how do we become our best self? And you have to go through a transformation. It's not just where should confidence come from? Confidence should come from competence. I don't want a confident pilot in an airplane. I want a pilot in the airplane who knows exactly what the fuck he's doing and knows how to fly that airplane, and that's why he's confident. Right? So when people are using this dating advice, it sounds good and it's from good intentions. I get that. But the missing piece of the element is this is a skill. We understand there's real things like behavioral psychology, social psychology. We understand there's proper ways to do things. For instance, if I was greeting you for the first time, Marcy, right? Hopefully I would be somewhat socially intelligent enough to look you in the eye and shake your hand and go, nice to meet you. I wouldn't just come up and lick your face as a greeting, right? I would understand the skill set of when I greet someone for the first time in a business, I should shake their hand and introduce myself. That is the skill. That is the technique to use. If we understand that and we can define that as like the, techniques and the skill set, then we just kind of expand on it all through the dating process. How to kiss, how to ask a girl on the date, how to approach her properly, how to manage a group of her and her friends and keep flowing conversation going. What is interesting conversation? How to listen better, how to make more statements, not questions, how to escalate, like sexually escalate in a way that's welcoming and inviting versus off-putting and forced. And like, these are all skills that, sorry, dad and school and society, no one taught us. And that's the big problem right now. So one thing I could want people to realize, like, fitness is a skill set, proper form, proper exercises, getting good at business is a skill set. You have to learn, like even this podcast, you developed a skill of having a successful and good podcast. It wasn't just be confident and be yourself on a podcast. It was, I had to learn the tech side. I'm not saying you're not being yourself in it, but I am saying like you have a producer. You had to realize like, I had to figure out to use Zoom for this. I had to like, there are things that go into it to be successful. And that's what I want to meant to understand and realize.
Well, because that brings up two things. So first, I had a woman ask me to ask you exactly what it was that you were teaching. And then I guess that's part of it, the things that you just talked. Okay, but here's what I want to ask you about, Darren. Okay, so you were just talking about that there are certain skills and things that you need to learn. Okay, so let's go back because you've been doing this a really long time. I've been around a really long time. So dating, there's always been a little game playing, a little bit of tricks and manipulation. And you go back, whenever it was that, do you remember they had the whole rules book came out and there was, I don't know, maybe it's before your time, but it was the idea of, I remember some of the rules were, after you go out with somebody, wait 3 days before you call them again so that you say, so all that stuff. I mean, it's game playing and I thought we were past that, but I'm wondering now, I'm going to ask you about some videos that I watched of yours. Okay.
Yeah, bro. So, bring it. Perfect.
Okay. So there were some things that I thought, okay, it's still tricks though. Like I'm wondering, and I'll be specific, but I'm wondering if part of what you were talking about with skill set, if there is a little bit of manipulation involved, if there is a little bit of I don't know. I'll tell you why. So I'll give you the names of 3 of the videos that I saw today. Okay.
Sure.
We had
But Emma, real quick, when we use the word manipulation, I want to define it. And
okay.
I want to define manipulation as getting someone to do something that's not beneficial for them and beneficial for you. Can we agree that would be the definition of manipulation or no?
Yeah, that's right. And so, right. Yeah, so that definitely has a negative spin to it, but that's how it feels.
No, manipulation is negative. I agree, manipulation is negative. It is getting someone to do something that you know is not beneficial for them, but is beneficial for you. Right. Versus, I would say maybe like persuasion is getting someone to align or agree with your point of view. I
think that there's a fine line there. I think that there's a fine line. I agree.
I'm trying to find the line.
I know. See, that's the thing. I think I think unfortunately the person that gets to define that is the one who's doing the persuading or the manipulating.
I'm open to interpretation, but I want to know if just we agree on the definition. Because if we don't agree on the definition, then
No, you're right. You're right. And so again, it is persuasion, but maybe it's sort of a persuasion with a bit of a twist of.
No, but these are my own moral compass and ethics is I refuse to manipulate, defined as I'm getting a girl or a guy, anybody, to do something that I know is not beneficial to them or is harmful to them, but that benefits me. If I know that to be, not to say I don't know how to do that, but if I know that's the case, I ethically wouldn't do it, right? However, for example, let's say I have a joke. I know a joke. It is a joke I've said a million times before. Mm-hmm. All right. And I know if I say this joke at this moment, you, Marcy, are going to laugh and you're going to like me more because you found me funny for this joke.
Right.
Is it manipulation if I say that joke? Or is it just a technique that I have that I know is going to bond us and give you a great experience?
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I think the problem though is when I think there's an in between there. I mean, I know plenty of people who would have it's okay. So you're saying with the manipulation that doing something that benefits them, that benefits you and hurts them. But I know a lot of people who are taking it, who in their mind, it's not hurting them, but it is benefiting them. Whatever happens. Like it's not as evil as thinking I'm doing this to benefit me and it is going to hurt them. They're not thinking that, but they're thinking this is going to benefit me and it probably won't hurt them. I'm sure they'll be fine. I mean, there's that part of it. It's not that they're going out to hurt somebody, but it's more like, I'm sure they'll be fine, but it will benefit me. So let me just tell you what I'm talking about. Okay. So it was, and honestly, sometimes I get it. The titles just made me laugh. So you have the one that's using mixed signals to drive a woman wild. Mm-hmm. There's that one. And there's the easy way to tease a girl.
Yep.
Okay. And then of course there's the, I shouldn't have been surprised. It's the how to attract a younger woman. Yep. Right.
Keep in mind, I also have how to attract an older woman.
Right. And I get that there are preferences. I get that, but I don't know. I mean, so I find that when I watch those videos, first of all, anything, it's going to, and they're for men. So I understand I'm hardly your target audience, but anything that says, this is what'll drive all women wild or what all women like. And that's just like, that makes me crazy. Because we're all different.
Of course. And I agree with it. We call it calibration. You have to treat each woman, differently. With that said, I do want to just do a brush here, which is some of it is for marketing purposes. It is just to get the exposure. It is to get name out. There are clickbaity things. I want to make that set, but I do stand behind every piece of content that I do bring out, and I'm happy to explain them or give you my thoughts on it.
Yeah, but I do love that you said that. I do love that you said that, the clickbait and all that. I do love
a lot of it is clickbaiting. A lot of it is for views. A lot of it is, literally one of my mentors was like, when you put this stuff, you got to be controversial. You got to be, but I'm like, all right, let me think of the most controversial stuff I can, but that I still ethically can stand by. So that's part of where that goes.
Yeah, and in fact, that worked really well with another one of your videos where you had said how to control women. And when you clicked on it, you said you don't. You respect them. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Exactly.
You won me over with that one. but it's, to me, it was almost, I don't know, like let's pick one. All right, let's pick. What would really frustrate me if I was the woman in this scenario? Okay, so you had the one on teasing. on how to tease a woman, right? And do you want to explain that? It was the one with the flexing. Do you want to?
Oh
Do you
yeah,
want me to?
I can explain it. So
Yeah.
a fun little game you can play with a girl. She's talking about fitness or
Let me. Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you because I know that there are gonna be people listening. I know who are gonna say, make him say woman, don't say girl, because when you're over the age of like, yeah, okay,
sure, women. So when you're talking to a woman and you maybe talk about fitness, or you're talking about she's looking good or whatever, anything that would segue is like, actually, you look like you work out. Here, flex for me. Let me see. And then she'll flex. She'll put a bicep, and you'll squeeze, and you go, no, seriously, flex. And she's flexing like, I'm trying. No, seriously, flex. Go for it. Seriously. And she keeps trying. Then she eventually catches on that you're joking with her. And that's when she goes, oh my God, don't stop. Right? Like she knows you're messing with her. At that point, when I've done this successfully, two things will typically happen. When I say teasing, the psychological term is breaking rapport. And I can explain why it's essential in attraction. And it doesn't have to only be verbal teasing like that. I mean, even physical escalation could be breaking rapport. Kissing her could be breaking rapport. But it is essential, and I'll explain why if you want. But this routine, for example, this little thing that is something that, when done right, when I play with it, I'll get usually two reactions. One, the girl's jaw drops, like if she realizes, oh my God, he's messing with me. And two, I get that playful like punch on the shoulder, and that's what stops it or helps it guide from not being such a friend zone type thing. You know how girls put guys in the friend zones because too nice, too. Yep.
Well, we're going to go back to that friend zone thing in a minute, but keep going. No.
So it's just one. So basically, it's a joke. The idea of teasing, it's not meant to put a girl down. It's not like, for back in the day, there were things called negs, which were literally made to have a woman feel insecure. Like, oh, you got something, a little eye crusty here. Your hair would look better up, by the way. I don't know why you keep it down. It's nice. It's just a bit better up. These kind of things are literally not, there's no playfulness. There's no joke. There's no humor. It's just meant to make a girl insecure. I cut all these out but the idea was to break rapport. The idea was to be that guy that's like, oh, I want his approval or I want his whatever. I didn't like that part, right? Because of what I define manipulation as. I'm making her feel worse for my benefit, right? With teasing, the idea is she knows you're messing with her. She knows you are having fun and kind of joking around. She knows that you don't actually think she's weak or that like she doesn't have an arm or bicep. It's something you do with anybody. Also, I probably wouldn't do it unless I saw the girl as very physically fit, where she's confident, she knows she's good anyways, right? So this is where calibration comes in. You have to actually be like, would a girl actually get offended by this? Is this something that a girl could take? But again, I've done it I don't even know how many times I've done it. And the typical reaction is jaw drops, punch on the arm, and go, oh my God, maybe like roll their eyes, but now it's more playful. Well, before it could be a very platonic, neutral, maybe interesting and nice conversation, but that's not going to go anywhere. Breaking rapport is an essential ingredient. Playfulness is an essential ingredient to actually building attraction. Otherwise, without fail, a woman is going to kind of get bored or feel like that brother vibe.
Okay, I like how you did refer to it as a routine, by the way. I thought that was interesting.
No, it's a routine.
See, but that's what I'm saying, but there are kind of games. And I just have to say, somebody who does, exercise a little bit, that would annoy the fuck out of me if somebody did it to me. I would not appreciate it. But just because you brought it up, there was another video where, because you're saying that it's not about, and I get it, it's not about putting a woman down and making her feel like she needs to get your approval. But there was another one that you did where you were saying if you were showing them too much interest, if you were showing a woman too much interest, and you said, right, now point to a guy that's not attractive and say, oh, you know what, you're not for me, but I think you'd be great for them, and I'm going to go talk to them, and the woman's reaction is, no, don't, and she'll hold on to your arm and be like, no, don't, and you said, and then she'll be seeking,
oh my God, if they go,
okay, but then you said that she'll be seeking your validation.
I think I don't remember exactly the word. Maybe I said that. I don't remember the exact wording, but I think what it does is it draws an amazing comparison between the competition and to you in that moment where it's like, no, I don't want to talk to that guy. And it helps make you appreciate the guy that's right in front of you. Because a lot of times women will put up walls for good reason. I'm not hating on it. I mean, I understand it. Women will put up walls. They will be on defense. They will want to protect themselves because a lot of guys have hurt women. A lot of guys have led women on to think things are more than it is. It's unfortunate. I mean, a lot of women have liked the guy too quick, too early, and regretted it because the guy just wanted to have her as a notch on his bedpost. I mean, so I get it. There's walls for a reason, but because there are those walls there, as men, it's our job. If we like this girl and we want to pursue something, we have to know how to lower the wall so that a connection can be made, because you can't make a connection with the wall up. So
Okay.
yes, if a girl's not showing me interest and her walls are up and she's whatever, then if I try to keep forcing it, guess what she's going to say? This feels forced. This is clingy. This is too much. So the best thing that I found, and this is not just my opinion on, this is not just like whatever, this is something I've done again and again. And for whatever the reason, we can argue if it's nice to do or not nice to do, but I know it works. I know it's effective, is I will pull myself back. It's counterintuitive, but when a girl pulls back, I'm going to pull back too. And then if I can get an emotional reaction out of her, which that particular routine, technique, whatever you want to call it, it will do, because she will get a moment of extreme shyness, embarrassment. Oh my God, please do not introduce me to that guy. I don't want to talk to him. Like it creates a strong emotion within a woman. And from there, if I can compare myself to that guy and she realizes this guy's way better, it helps lower that wall. So I think what happens is a lot of guys, women are, as I found it, just be more emotional creatures. Women that they just experience emotions better, and it's their strength. They're more intuitive. They're more emotionally intelligent than men on average, more socially intelligent than men on average. Not all, but I'm just playing the field here. So when we do something like that, when most guys are talking to them, it's very either boring or creepy. It's very either just weird and like, what is this guy doing? And it's just like, shoot me. He's just, what do you do? Where are you from? How's it going? It's very neutral. And you're hoping maybe there's some big commonality that will come up in a conversation that will click. But if it's not there, then it's just like, well, there's no chemistry. Or the only emotion he's making a guy feel is, well, he's turned on by you. He's overly sexually advancing on you. He's talking about how hot you are and sexy you are and wants to, whatever. And yeah, there's an emotion to it, but it's also like, well, now my walls go up. So a lot of this stuff is to give a woman, a lot of what we do, the experience that I talk about giving a woman, is giving her an emotional roller coaster, giving her a fun adventure, giving her a sense of, this is unlike most men who approach me and I talk with, so I can enjoy this interaction.
I mean, I guess it all comes down to intent, right? I mean, somebody can use your techniques for good or for evil, right? I mean, that's really, and that's kind of that's out of your hands. I mean, you can't. All you can do is give them the tools and hopefully, and because you are coming from a place of respect and consent, hoping that they will take that. But ultimately, it really depends on the person who is, how they want to use it, right?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Guys can use my techniques. Guys can use stuff that I teach and for nefarious and bad purposes. Same thing can be true for anyone teaching mixed martial arts. Like you can go to a dojo and teach guys how to really kill and mess somebody up, but no one's vilifying MMA fighting. It's empowering. It's defending yourself. It's allowing. It's a sport, right? But I would say more harm is done there, where guys learn these MMA techniques and then go out and just beat guys up and use it. But hopefully, at least within my ecosystem, at least within the guys, students that I have direct control over, we are creating an ecosystem. We are creating a culture of, we want to befriend women. I tell every guy, like, you shouldn't even start dating until you have 3 to 5 female friends, so you can understand women in a way that goes beyond just hot girl in a nightclub and thing I read on a book or from YouTube. We develop a culture of, you should have a social circle. You should have friends. You should have people you're going out with. We develop a culture of, hey, we want to actually connect with women and understand them more, not let's just get them and take it back and go find another one. We want a culture of retaining women in our life, of whether it's as friends. Yes, it could be a friends with benefits, as long as both parties are happy and agree with that. I'm not going to say I'm against that. It's just as long as everybody's happy, and ideally relationships, girlfriends. So the thing we do not teach, the thing that's never going to happen, is we don't teach guys how to steal girls from boyfriends or anything like that. We do not teach guys, hey, you should act like you're interested in her when you're not. You should pretend that you want something serious when you don't. We teach them how to communicate exactly what they want with the girl, so that she knows what's up and she can be, an adult about it and make up her own mind if this works or if it's something she wants as well. So you're absolutely right. Like, I'm not going to argue that. Like, guys, if you just take nitpicky, like, little things that I teach on how to build attraction or ways to make things fun with the girl or escalate with the girl, of course, if a guy just wants to get laid and fuck girls over, I suppose they could use it, but
right. But that's not what you're selling. And that's you're right. Okay. I want to go back for 1 second because it's something that I think is very important, because you're talking about, you said how important it is for guys to have female friends. Absolutely. But then you use that expression that irks me so much.
Go for it.
It's the whole friend zone thing. And this is my issue with the friend zone. It's that, you know what they say? They say that what's worse for a guy than being friend zone is a woman who finds out that her guy friend is only her friend because he wants to fuck her. That's worse.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And the whole thing that I don't like about it also is it makes it seem like being a woman's friend is a consolation prize when she won't sleep with you. And the way I see it, and tell me how you feel about this. I know that there are people on both sides. Women get into this situation just as much as men do, but you could be pining for somebody. No, but in the situation where women, you could be really into somebody and really like somebody, and they don't have those same feelings back, and they see you as a friend, and so you stick around hoping that they'll change, or just because you want to be in their company. They'll tell you about the dates that they're going on, and they'll take you to run errands, and they'll do all that stuff, and it's killing you because you want more and you feel like you're friend zoned. My feeling to that is, I think then it's time to walk away from the friendship. I think then and it's not disrespectful. I think it's a way to say, you know what? This is killing me. I'm not getting what I want. I'm not going to get what I want. It's too difficult. I think it's okay as self-preservation to say, I can't do this anymore, instead of feeling frustrated or resentful that you're in the friend zone. Because again, to me, that seems like, it's such a negative thing. And I don't think being someone's friend should ever be seen as a negative, or to try to get out of it. To me, it's just odd. Like sometimes there's no way out because you're meant to be friends.
I mean, I would argue if you're very attracted to this girl and you can't turn that off and you have feelings for her, then are you meant to just be friends, or are you meant to just realize, hey, this isn't working? And because here's the thing, when a guy's
but that's what I'm saying. That's when you need to go. That's
right.
That's when it's okay to say, I can't be your friend right now.
Absolutely. Again, let me define some things when I talk about friend zone, because everything, this is a big problem with friendly debate or with understanding, whatever. I think like 95% of why people don't agree on things just comes down to misunderstanding. And the first step to understanding is to have things very, very clearly defined, in my opinion. I mean, in fact, in psychology, we call it every single piece has to have the operational definition, if I want to get like nerdy with it. So first and foremost, straight up, let's go with the beginning. There's nothing wrong with having platonic female friends. I think every guy should. You should have attractive platonic female friends, but you should understand they're to be your friends. That's not a courting thing. You're not doing it to court them. It's when guys are befriending women or accepting this friendship title because they want to court a girl. That they're like, well, it's the best I can get, and I'll still have a foot in the door, and maybe over time she'll realize that I'm the best she'll ever have, blah, blah, blah. That is awful. That is just bullshit. I agree with everything you're saying. I agree with you. They should go on their merry way and just cut that out, okay? With that said, though, I think there is real value, lots of value, on a deep level and on a superficial level, and I can explain either one, of having female friends. Having 3 to 5 female friends, like sisters, let's call it, like platonic. Keep in mind that now, to go a step further though, when girls put guys in a friend zone, it's not really a friend zone. What it is platonic zone. There is a difference to me between being friends and being platonic. In fact, it's so funny. I just had a conversation with a girl literally today. I'm talking with a girl today, and she tried to we were talking and flirty, but she was like, because of, again, what I do, she's like, I don't know, because she's just getting to know me, and she's like, could you be this player guy? I don't know. And there's an attraction there, but then she's like, maybe we should just be friends and aka platonic. And I had a whole conversation with her, turned around, and at the end of the day, we agreed it would probably be better with like friends with benefits type thing, right? But here's the emphasis: if you're doing a friends with benefits, emphasis should be on friends, not benefits. And this is what I mean between platonic zone and friend zone. There are friends, guys and women friends, who fuck each other, who hook up with each other, and they're still friends. They're not romantically entwined. They're not. Hell, look at the show Friends. They all hook up with each other. All right, like this is very understood. Like this, like in the show Friends, everyone sleeps with everybody, right? So we get that this is a thing, right? This is not like some new crazy thing. Like you can hook up and be with your friends, and you find your friends attractive, but you realize not there to date. That's okay. And guys don't think, a lot of guys think girls wouldn't like that, but every girl I talk to is like, no, I get it. I'm down with that. I sometimes I want that, right? So
Absolutely.
a lot of men don't realize that on the side of women. I do, because I'm around a lot of female friends. A lot of my female friends I have had sexual relationships with, and we are very, very close friends. Some of them I haven't. Some of them I haven't even kissed, but we're still very good friends. I have platonic friends. I have friends with benefits. It's all fine. And of course,
Right.
if I get a girlfriend, that all stops, and now I'm just with my girl. I'm not going to be still hooking up with my friends. But the point is, it's very different than being made to feel and being shown that there's only platonic vibes here. I only see you in a platonic way. I am putting you in the platonic zone, right? And when a guy is attracted to a girl and wants more, and the girl's like, I only want to be platonic with you, then instead of settling for this weird friendship title, exactly what you said, he should just realize, look, no, that's not what I want. And something I do teach and I can help guys with, if they're in that category and they want to be with this girl, there are ways to break out with it. But if you are going to break out of that, then you have to accept the loss of, you might lose this girl as your friend, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be willing to walk away from that.
Okay, that makes sense. That's fair enough. And I absolutely agree that when it comes to having friends that you hook up with, I think as a woman who thinks like that, I think there could be danger on either side. And I've said this before, that there are men also who don't get that. And maybe especially with women, even if women say, not looking for a relationship, but we get along great, there's a physical attraction, let's just do that. I think that as long as both people are clear, then that could be good. I think that what happens sometimes is, if one person is more interested in the other person, then they may they may go, sure, no, I feel the same way, hoping that the friendship and the sex will lead to something more. But that's as long as my position is, as long as you've made that clear, as long as you've made it clear that that is what you want, then we're all grown-ass adults, right?
Honestly, let's say we're friends, Marcy. We become friends, and let's say an attraction develops and we become friends with benefits and becomes more. And let's say that we have very healthy communication as friends, and you can voice to me that you are kind of catching feelings, and that maybe we are feeling a bit more. Or maybe you don't, and maybe I just sense it. I'm just trying to be emotionally intelligent, and I can tell, okay, she's feeling a little bit more, right? At that point, I understand that before the age of 30, 98 or some ridiculous number, 98%, I don't know the exact stats, but it's like 98% of relationships fail before the age of 30. And then after, it's still like something super high, like 77 or 80 something. So point is, sex doesn't kill friendships. Romance kills friendships. So if I notice that we were actually really friends, but we're hooking up, and that something more might be developing, I would probably have a frank conversation with you and say, maybe we should stop the benefits part, because I would hate for the friendship to be ruined, because chances are, what's going to happen? We're going to get into each other. We're going to date, and then we're going to start, filling each other out. Maybe a year goes by, whatever, but then we start fighting, and then as a couple, we break up. Guess what happens? This potential lifelong friendship is now ruined because we try to go the relationship route, and I don't want to ruin the friendship. So if that means taking away the benefits, let's take away the benefits aspect of it. And let's just be really great friends again.
Yeah, ideally you're on the same page, but how, that's the tough part, right? Is being on, even if you go into it thinking that you want the same thing, some things can change. That's human nature.
And maybe it changes for both of us. And then who knows, maybe a relationship does form.
Right. But again, it's great if you do have a solid friendship first. I found it's difficult sometimes if you meet somebody and you just right off the bat kind of go, not feeling a relationship vibe, or I'm just not a relationship person and just want to kind of hang out and do the friends with benefits thing. If you haven't built a solid foundation,
that's a fuck buddy to me. That's just somebody you hook up with. There's nothing really there. That doesn't lead anywhere. But
as long as everyone's on board, who cares, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
So I want to ask you something, because you've been doing this for so long. Dating has changed a lot in the last 16 years. And if you look at dating apps now, even, oh my God, it seems like there's a new one popping up all the time. If you look at a few years ago when there were like the basic ones, which I consider Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, now there's also ones that are more specific. You can, for executives or for sugar babies or for whatever. You can, your
Right.
kink, like whatever it is. There's so many.
Yeah.
I would wonder if that makes it dating easier or if it makes it harder because you always have the fear of missing out, right? That's I think a lot of the criticism with dating apps is like, yeah, you meet somebody great, but there are 18 other people in my phone right now. What if one of them is better?
Right.
Has that made it harder, do you think, to date?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it makes it easier in business terms. It makes it easier marketing, harder conversion, harder sales. So marketing, you have a fake sense of abundance. You have so many options, all these different things, exactly what you want. You're swiping away. You feel like the man because you're like, or you don't, or you feel the opposite. You're seeing all these girls and nobody's matched with you. Nobody's liking you. Again, hypergamy. 20% of men are getting with 80% of the women. So maybe you don't. I mean, for me, at least from a guy has options, like it feels like the marketing's open and there's so many options there, but then converting and getting a girl to like actually want to go on a date, make something real, make the connection. It's like the moment you mess up, maybe I did the arm thing to you, Macy. I did one thing and you're like, I don't like that. You know what? I'm back on the apps. I'm going back on it. Before we didn't have that. Before a guy messed up, it's like, well, you know what? I've got a limited pool. Maybe I should give him another chance because I see what my options are. Is not gonna, like let me actually try and make this work. Let me actually. I come from a small town. It's the 50s. It's whatever. There's no apps. Like, you know what? Let me actually put in some fucking effort into this and not just X a guy off on the first thing he does. That's a mistake. And I think that's what's become a lot harder. Is that fake sense of abundance of I can always just find another one and replaceable. And so nobody wants to put effort in to actually make something real. And then they wonder why the dating scene sucks so much.
It's funny that you bring that up because another question that I got from a listener was a gentleman who had been in a relationship for a really long time and was in his 50s, I believe. And he was saying that he was really, really frustrated with the apps because it was that thing of him saying, oh my God, I was afraid to say anything. And then if I said something and I offended somebody, that was it. Then they got mad at me. And then they were like, he's so full of fear over saying the wrong thing and making a mistake and being shut down that it made him not want to try anymore. And in our society, it really is, how do you meet people, especially over the last few years when we really could only use apps. That was kind of a thing. But it's hard. And I think from when I was learning about you too, is that a lot of the men who come to you are men who are coming to you after having left long marriages, who are maybe later in life and who are kind of feeling like, what the hell do I do now? Because as you said, dating has changed a lot since, they were single originally and now they're jumping into this thing and don't know what the hell to do. Is that a good portion of the men that come to you?
It's a range. I would love to say, it's all these guys. I mean, we get young guys coming in. We get a lot of entrepreneurial type guys, a lot of guys who work, a lot of like guys who run their own business and they work a lot and they don't really have time so much for dating. And they're just like, look, man, like I'm on my potential to be in my business. So help me just streamline this. Help me, like, they understand the idea of mentorship. They understand the idea of like, I want to be successful. We get like a lot of guys who are successful in other areas. And they're like, I just want a dedicated mentor team to help me be successful at this so I can put my attention back on my business where it belongs. But yeah, absolutely. We get guys who are divorced, older gentlemen, guys who feel like they just can't keep up with all the trends and the modern, the Instagram and the Snapchats and the Hinge and Tinders and whatever. We get a very wide range of guys, but honestly, it's a lot of sweethearts. It's a lot of guys who just either they felt nerdy their whole life, or they felt to get success with other areas, but just not this. They're just like, I just don't know what to do. Like for this guy that you mentioned, for example, he's scared to try anything because he doesn't know what to do. And this goes back to my earlier point. It is a skill and it's a learnable, teachable skill set. So like, for example, we could show him like, hey man, try these things out. Here's what to say. Here's things you can do. Here's optimal ways to do your profile and your pictures so you get more matches. Like it is a skill. I can't tell you how many, especially older guys, have these like super up close.
Oh my God, I was going to say that. I was going to say for all of my straight female sisters out there who are on dating apps. Oh my God, like you have to.
It's awful.
That has to be part of your service, is teaching how to put together a decent profile. Because the thought is, if you can put a little bit of effort into a profile to attract a woman, you are certainly not going to put any effort into keeping her
It's not
or
even
keeping
effort,
her
though.
happy.
As a representative of the guys, it's not about the effort. It's about the know-how. They don't understand. They literally don't know what effort means. They're just like, oh, picture. Okay, I'll take a picture. That's what they want. Like, they don't get it. It's like when I talk, like, do a selfie. Well, or they're like, these are the only pictures I have. A lot of these guys, women love to take pictures of themselves, the selfies with their friend. Women love taking pictures and stuff. A lot of men, they don't take pictures. In fact, I realized something. The reason why so many men have that picture with the fish is literally because they look through their catalog and like, I have no good pictures of me. I don't take pictures when I go out. It's just not on
I've heard
their
that.
mind.
It's so funny you say that because it's true. That's the one that they get the most flack for. And I remember dating somebody a few years ago who said that, he explained that. He was like, I don't take pictures of myself. The only pictures I have are when I'm holding up.
And this goes back to what I said. The problem is there's so many of these dating issues or people problems is a lack of understanding. Of realizing like, oh, I didn't realize that's why men did that. I thought men are just douchebags who just love fish. It's like, no, that's just all they got. So we teach them, we go, here are the 6 types of photos that women are going to respond to. Here's how to use your Hinge or Tinder to give her because the picture's worth 1,000 words. Here's how to give her a range of emotions, show depth with your pictures. Not just you look good, but that show whether it's your sexy side, whether it's your outdoor adventurous side, whether it's your playful comedic side of picture. Like for my comedic side picture, I literally have a picture of me doing stand-up comedy. So a girl's like, oh, that's interesting. He does stand-up comedy. Goofy picture outdoors. You have one of me ziplining like upside down, right? Show the awe factor, me with my dog and my parents. There's a picture of me with my family. The awe factor, right? But you see how it gives a range of emotion? It's not just I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot. Women are going to get turned off by that. They want to see this multidimensional person, and that's what I mean by and even in person when you're talking to a girl, you should give her a range of emotions, and that ultimately is going to give her a great experience. That's going to make her want to invest in you, aka put an effort, and then she'll realize through cognitive dissonance, she'll realize, why am I putting effort into this guy? Why am I investing? Oh, you know what? I actually must like him. Otherwise, why would I do that? And then that's when the attraction really starts snowballing.
Let me ask you another thing, though. You said that you have women who work on your staff as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I have 2 female coaches on my staff and a drill leader.
Well, because that's the thing. I think, and I said earlier that one thing that I kind of go is when, well, anybody, but especially when a man will say, okay, this is what you got. This is what all women like. All women respond to this. All women like that.
There are 2 words I refuse to ever say, and that is always and never.
Okay. Yeah. Cause it's so frustrating. Although I have to admit that I was listening to it was a podcast you did, and there was a woman there who works, I don't know if she works with you, but you were asking questions. And I was prepared. This is a good thing because I was prepared to be annoyed, but I was surprised. So
most women are prepared to be annoyed with me. You're not alone. They're like, I'm ready to hate you.
I was ready. So no, but you had asked her, women want, and the same thing, I don't want a woman speaking for me either, right? We're all so different. Yep. And then she said 3 things. She said she wants 3 things. She wants a man to make her think, to make her laugh, and to make her come.
I love that.
I thought I can't really argue with that. That's pretty.
I love that. When she tells, that's something I still go by. Yeah.
I think that's pretty good. You do. That's exactly. You want someone to make you think, or to be able to have interesting conversation with. You want someone to make you laugh because laughing is fun. I mean, you want to have fun, and you want that sexual satisfaction, fun.
You understand though, sometimes teasing a girl, knowing how to playfully tease a girl gets her laughing.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm just trying to think. I want to see if there are any other questions that I had. Oh, well, okay. So 2 things quickly. So one woman asked me, she wants to know, are you honest with men when they come to you and they're setting their sights too high in the sense that they have these really, really, really high standards for women, and they are not ever going to be able to bring to the table what they want? Because there are some men who will they want the cream of the crop, what they consider to be the cream of the crop.
Why,
and they aren't.
Let me reverse it. Why do you think they'd never be able to bring it to the table?
Well, it could be it could be an attitude. It could be that they want maybe her to be at a level of success that they don't have, to have a physical attraction that they don't have, whatever. I think that men are quicker to shut women down, I think, let's
go through that. They
Okay.
don't have the attitude for her. They don't have the physical appearance for her. They don't have the kind of success she would need, right? Well, what if we got them all those things? What if we got them an amazing attitude or better, more playful, bubbly personality? What if we got them to be more successful in their career? What if we got them to be in better shape and to become more attractive and well groomed? So I'm brutally honest with them in a sense of, brother,
That's fair.
if you want this, this is what it's going to take. And you have to decide, is the juice worth the squeeze? Are you going to do everything necessary in order to get it? But I don't tell guys, no, you can't have that. Because this girl's going to get with somebody. It's just, this is what it's going
That's
to
fair.
take in order to make
fair.
that happen. But that's where I'm brutally honest with. I mean, some guys will come to an event or live boot camp or live event with us, and I tell them straight up, like, you need to go back home and put deodorant on. You smell. Like, you got to do basic grooming, dude. I'm very brutally honest with them, but I'm here to empower them and not make them be like, you're not capable of getting what you want. It's just let's do the journey. Like, you want that. I don't want to, refer to girls as numbers because I understand the toxicity of that, but just for women, let's just, thank you. Let's just, for argument's sake, let's say, this guy wants a 10. Okay. Yeah. Well, show me you can get a 5 first. If you get a 5, can we level you up to get a? Again, I don't like putting them in numbers, but it's the only easy way to explain this.
I don't like it either, John.
I don't like it either. I don't like it. But show me. Okay, a better way is you want this caliber of girl. Let me see if you can get this caliber of girl.
That's not better though, because what is making her like that's not better. That's not better.
Well, just like at the end of the day,
his type closer to his type, and maybe not closer.
But then we're being politically correct for the sake of not being effective and honest, because you understand, Marcy, I have to believe that you agree that certain people are out of other people's leagues. Like, you're not going to date a guy who's 800 pounds who only wears socks and who doesn't have a career going for himself. Like, you're going to realize I'm out of this guy's league. And maybe that's not politically correct to say, but it is what it is.
Yeah, just referring to it's the idea of somebody not being high caliber or quality. I've heard men say like high quality women, and I just find that that's saying that they're low quality. And somebody cannot be for you, but the quality of people, okay, so
let me ask you something.
It's more like judgments that I don't like.
Can we universally agree that if a man does not take care of his physical appearance, he's not well groomed, he lets himself go, gets completely obese, he doesn't have a decent job, he has no car, he's still living with his parents at the age of 40, he has a lot of traits that are universally considered very unattractive. He's not just not someone's type, he is considered less attractive than David Beckham, who's in shape, is successful, is very famous. We can be, and again, I understand where it's coming from. It's coming from a good place, and I love your heart on that, and I do appreciate that. I get it, but this is where my brutal honesty comes out, and I'm sorry, but there are leagues. There are certain types.
Yeah, you're just going to such extremes, though. I mean, you're going to like major extremes, but no, and I get, but that's what I'm saying too. I guess that's what the person was asking. It's like I feel that there's some men who are, like you were saying earlier, who are confident without the skills to back it up, and who will just expect certain things and be upset if a woman doesn't give him the response that he's looking for, even though he's not bringing much. But if they are coming to you for the help and you're saying, well, maybe I can get you there, I get that.
That's what we're about. We're all about just leveling them up.
And again, I mean, I don't want to keep you too long, but I think it does go back to what I said earlier, where it's intent. And what does make you different, for sure, you have women working for you, and not that that's necessarily a thing, but I think it is about respect. It is about consent. But we have to admit too, that there is still that the routines, the playfulness, the games. There's a little bit of, which isn't necessarily bad. I mean, that's
if it adds to if the routines, the games, or whatever adds to the woman's experience in a positive way, my conscience is clear, honestly. I feel like every single person, every celebrity that goes on a talk show, when they tell their story, whatever, that's a routine. They have practiced the story 1,000 times. It is to get a laugh out of the audience. It is to be interesting. When you go to a job interview and you're going to your resume and selling yourself, because a part of dating is selling yourself, you're going to have your routines. You're going to have those things you say that make you stand out. You're going to practice interview questions and know exactly what to say to them so that you can be the one chosen and not your competition. I have no problem with the routines or games, whatever. Maybe it sounds like a bad name, routines. I do have a problem with doing something that gives a woman a bad expectations, that makes her self-judge herself or second guess her
Mhm.
self-esteem. I have problems with anything that makes men more bitter towards women or creates a bigger divide. I have problems with anything that leads a woman on with your intentions of you want something and you're not, she doesn't understand that. She thinks you want something more. Like all of that, I think, we kind of agree on it. And I think any girl or any woman would agree on this with
Absolutely.
me.
Yes.
But I also do wholeheartedly believe if I have something that I know to share with you, a story, a joke, whatever,
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
I know would give you a great experience and bond us and connect us better, why wouldn't I do it? Why would I limit myself?
No, absolutely. I guess it's like wearing a shirt that you know looks good on you. And
Exactly.
there you
If
go.
you've got the sexy shirt that you know a guy's going to appreciate this, that is our sexy shirt. That's an amazing way to put it. When you put on the makeup, when you put on a sexy shirt, when you get your hair done, you know you're looking beautiful and attractive. If for a guy, yeah, some of it is grooming, but you know that men are more visual than women. For women, it's not one, it's everything. So if I know I can be armed with the interesting stories and the funny anecdotes and the like things to do, why wouldn't I put my best self forward and
I
give that girl a
agree.
great experience?
Yeah, and it gives you confidence and makes you
Yes.
feel good. And that's why I said at the very, very beginning, it's not confident men that are a threat to women. It's the insecure ones. Because if you feel good about yourself, chances are you're going to be nicer to other people, right? It's when we feel like shit that we treat other people like shit.
Yes.
And so I think I'd heard you say also it's about, and you keep saying this, and this is why I do feel comfortable promoting what you do, and I do appreciate it, and I do think that you are giving a positive message, is because it is about leaving a situation, whether it's, if you meet, you've said before, and I do my research, and when you meet a woman, whether it's a brief encounter or whether it's longer, is to leave that situation and leave her better than
found her.
Yeah, well, or at least not better, but at least not worse. Again, it's the intention.
I try to live better. I hope every woman who comes to my path, I hope just meeting you and this episode takes off for you, and your podcast is better than before I was on it. I mean, that is always my intention, at least, is to add value and make things better than before my presence was there.
And I totally get that. I used to say that all the time when I was doing the dating app thing quite a bit. And I would go, and I would never, I was the type of person who would never go into a dating situation like, oh, maybe they're the one. I was like, oh, maybe I'll have a good time. I'm just going to meet somebody new. Like I never
That's
had,
good.
But
That's
that
smart.
was always, that was always my thing was, if I get there and I know, okay, this person isn't for me, I want them to leave the date having had a good time. I don't want them to feel like they wasted their, I want them to, I met a nice person. We had a good time. We laughed. So that's the same. I guess that's the same thing, is just to leave somebody with a positive feeling when they leave you than with negative. Love that. Okay. So where can people reach you?
All over, as you've seen, I'm on TikTok, Jared Psych Laurence, Instagram at the Jared Laurence, Facebook, Jared Laurence, YouTube, Modern Flirting. I think it's on YouTube. There's a lot of different ways. You can reach me on any social media. Just Google around or type in Jared Laurence, and you can get me on all the social medias. I would say the best one probably is the Facebook group. And the reason I would say the Facebook group is because every single week we do free coaching. We're the only company that I know that there's no webinar, no sales pitch, nothing like that. It's literally just for guys who maybe can't afford the VIP program. They can come on. It's every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we answer their questions. We help them right then and there. It's a really cool way of giving back and just letting people know that it's the real deal. And then again, give value, give experience. And if they really like it and they love it, they can decide they want to do more and get the more hands-on training and whatever else. So the Facebook group, Modern Flirting, dating advice for professional businessmen. If you just type in Modern Flirting, you'll find it. Modern Flirting, dating advice, you'll find it in Facebook. And yeah, but Instagram, any social media platform you can reach out to me on.
Okay, perfect. And we will have all your contact information in the show notes as well, so you're easy to reach. So thank you for spending some time with me. That was fun. I knew it would be.
Well, I have a question for you before we go, Marcy.
Yeah.
So did I successfully ruin my reputation, or what?
Oh, I don't think you ruined it. But
we failed on this episode. Maybe next one.
Well, you'll have to come back and try harder.
I love it. You gave me the hard questions. It was great, but bring it. I love it.
That's my goal. Listen, this isn't no, what do they call it? Like no soft pitching here. Like it's
The gloves are
Yes,
off. It was good. It was
the
interesting.
gloves are off with me. I know, but thank you. You're a great sport, and I really appreciate. I learned, and I think that's honestly that's the whole goal of my podcast. I think people come in to a lot of these, and they feel very strongly about what we talk about, and they're expecting to just kind of go full force onto, and they leave going, oh, you know what? I didn't see things that way, and to have a little bit more of an understanding. If not
Also, I'll say
completely.
this for any women listeners: I welcome all. Most of this stuff I've learned, honestly, about dating, about attraction. Not all, but a big part of it comes from women. So I'll see a girl do something to me. I'll see women do something to me, and I'll be like, "Wow, that's good." Like, all right, I'm going to use that. Hell. And so I always welcome all. I have an open invitation. Any woman who wants to come to one of my boot camps, one of my seminars, wants to see me coach. I have an open invitation because I don't want to be teaching anything that not to say women will agree with everything I say, right? But I don't want to be like hidden, like it's just men's. I'm only talking to the men. I have an open invitation. Anytime I do a public appearance, I do a speech, I whatever. I'm more than happy to have any and every woman attend, listen to me, and share their thoughts with me if they agree or if they disagree.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Thank you, Jared. Psych. And modern flirting. And I hope this gets people talking more. And because there's no more battle of the sexes, we all gotta work together. Jeez.
I agree.
Okay.
Bring it together.
Thanks, Jared. Thanks for
Thank
chatting.
you.
Take care. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to How to Ruin Your Own Reputation. Available now everywhere you get your podcasts.